That's what makes this show so valuable.
Yeah, we're not just spewing stuff that we off the top of our head. We're bringing guys in that are smarter than us.
Consider us as your real estate concierge.
Call me all things real estate, credit, refinancing, buying a house.
And now, the show that gives you the latest and most relevant housing market news. Real Estate Radio Boston with financial expert Rick Shearer and legal professional Ali Alavi.
Because of the government shutdown, you've got the IRS shutdown. We're not getting 4506Ts. I had a client call me the other day. We need a Social Security card because there was something funky on the credit report. And he can't get a Social Security card because the Social Security office isn't issuing it. So, we're seeing those quirky things that we need these government agencies to kind of step in and help us out with, and they're just not there.
This is a temporary thing. This may not last forever, even if the market were to stabilize.
Yeah, but you know what, though, Ali? As long as it goes on, the more problems we're going to start having. If it goes back this week, we might be fine. If this goes on in a few weeks, we could have some problems.
Really, the take-home message is that you need to take advantage of these low rates. Either call your mortgage professional, call Rick, and refinance. And if you have rates in the high fours, really refinance and take advantage of these low rates.
I want to welcome on the phone Erica Wallace from Tech Talk with Erica Wallace. What app do you have for us this week?
This week, we're looking at the app WalkScore, and it's an app and an online site that will help you calculate the walkability of local towns and neighborhoods in terms of their proximity to coffee shops, stores, public transportation, trails, that kind of thing. It's to encourage more walking, less weekends of watching Netflix, I suppose. If you're new to a town or you're thinking of buying a house and you know it's important to you that you like to do your errands on foot and you don't want to have to drive from store to store, it's a great resource to be able to tell you what comparatively one town looks like against another. It's a good place to check out to see, how close will you be to certain things, what are other people saying about the neighborhood.
That's great.
It's really tied to the community.
So how do we get the app?
If you go to the App Store and you just search WalkScore, or you can just go to walkscore.com.
Perfect. Erica, thanks so much. We'll see you next week.
We want to talk about and dive deep into this new City of Boston ordinance.
Sure.
Something that I think you have your own nomenclature for. What do you call it, David?
I call it the Boston Mandatory Registration and Inspection Ordinance.
So this kind of turned everything upside down. Give us some details on it.
My opinion is that the ordinance in many parts is unconstitutional. It is onerous. It's an invasion of privacy, and it will not accomplish what Menino hoped it would accomplish, which is to raise the standard of the housing stock in Boston. By August 31st, it required all the landlords to register approximately 140,000 units in the city of Boston. And this includes rental units, such as condos, that were not exempt. And the exemption was for 1 to 6 families, owner-occupied. It cost $25 a year per unit to register for the first year and $15 a unit thereafter.
And if you don't do it, there's penalties associated with it.
There are penalties, $300 a month fine. There are penalties.
$300 a month fine per unit.
That's right.
So if you have more than 1 unit, guess what? You're in for a pretty significant financial burden. Wow.
So what are they looking for?
Well, they're looking for code defects, and they're looking for problem properties. And I think that's another problem with the statute, because part of the definition of problem properties are properties that have to do with behavioral issues such as drunkenness, disturbance of the peace, arrestable offenses. For example, if you have the police called to a property for those types of offenses more than X number of times per year, that's considered a problem property, and the city is supposed to come down on the landlord.
But what's the landlord have anything to do with that?
I think zero. I think nothing really effective. It has nothing to do with code inspections or the state sanitary code. This mandatory inspection is unconstitutional because you're going and you're essentially looking for a crime. You're looking for a violation.
Now, Lon, who got you in the business? I can't remember. How
Rick, that would actually be you, my friend, at a luncheon meeting we had, and you pushed me in that direction.
And I think I paid for that lunch, too. So
yep, and many Sox tickets and Pats tickets along the way, too.
Let's just talk a little bit about the appraisal aspect of it, where, just to let everybody know, we have to go over the lower of the two. So if it's the purchase price or appraisal amount. If appraisal amount comes in lower, that's where we start that's where the bank considers the purchase price being whatever the appraisal is, or the lower of the two. So if there's a gap between the appraisal and the agreed upon purchase price, that difference needs to be made up in cash by the buyer. So
right. It doesn't mean that the deal is going to die.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Of the deals I've done recently, all of them on average have gone between 5 to 10% over asking.
That's great. What's the inventory look like in your area?
Supply and demand 101. There is a limited supply and a huge demand. But we're starting to see listings kind of pick up in the last couple weeks here in the fall. I think sellers realize that it's a great time to list their property. And so you're starting to see inventory start to pick up even in the fall, and I think it's going to be a strong winter, and I predict a huge 2014.
The leaves are starting to change. So if you're in any of those markets we talked about, please feel free to give Lon Norton a call.